In the spotlight tonight is Richard Dale from Colwyn Bay, a sales agent. His specialist subject is the history of the Encyclopaedia Britannica. Jonathan Shaw from Hull, a civil servant. His subject, XTC. Susan Lang from Colchester, an administrative assistant, and her subject is the life and work of George Hudson. And Brian Doherty from Portsmouth, a maths tutor whose subject is the history of the city of Moscow. I'm John Humphreys and welcome to Mastermind, the show that tests not only how much people know but how much they can deliver under pressure. 2 minutes only for their specialist subject and the general knowledge round. At the end of it all, the winner goes into our next round and the chance to gain the ultimate accolade, Mastermind. So let's have our first contender, please. And your name is?
Richard Dale.
Your occupation?
Sales agent.
And your chosen subject?
The history of the Encyclopaedia Britannica.
2 minutes, starting now. Which printer, later secretary of the Society of Scottish Antiquaries, was the first editor of the Encyclopaedia?
William Smellie.
Yes. Which magician wrote the article on conjuring that appeared in the 13th edition of Britannica, published in 1926?
Houdini.
Yes. What was the name of the editor of The Times who, in 1898, agreed to accept royalties in return for advertising the 9th edition of Britannica for purchase in monthly instalments?
Moberly Bell.
Yes. What name did Horace Hooper propose for the smaller page-sized Britannica that the mail-order company Sears Roebuck would sell through its catalogue?
The handy volume.
Yes. In which year was the Encyclopaedia Britannica first published in a CD-ROM edition and also made available online?
1993.
94. Who in 1790 in Philadelphia printed the first pirated edition of Britannica to become available in the United States?
Pass.
Which writer and literary critic provided a biographical appreciation of Charles Dickens for the 14th edition published in 1929?
Chesterton.
Yes. Which editor of the Observer newspaper was appointed British editor of the 13th edition in 1925?
J.L. Garvin.
Yes. Which encyclopaedia did Britannica purchase after William Benton became chairman of the board in 1943?
Whedon's.
Compton's. What term meaning little bundle was used for the sections of the first edition which were published one at a time between 1768 and 1771?
Fascicles.
Yes. Which edition that first included T.H. Huxley expounding Darwin's theory of evolution and Prince Pyotr Kropotkin on anarchism is sometimes called the Scholars' Edition?
The 9th edition.
Yes. When a revised version of the 15th edition was published in 1985, it consisted of how many volumes?
32.
Yes. In the 13th edition, Albert Einstein contributed a challenging article about relativity with what title?
Space-Time.
Yes. The annual volume, the Book of the Year, was first issued in which year?
Officially 1938.
Yes. Which archaeologist... I started just, but I shall finish. Which archaeologist's pioneering efforts to decipher the Rosetta Stone first appeared under the Britannica imprint?
Young.
Thomas Young it was. You had the one pass. In 1790, it was Thomas Dobson who printed the pirate edition. You have scored, Richard Dale, 12 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Jonathan Shaw.
Your occupation?
Civil servant.
And your chosen subject?
XTC.
In 2 minutes, starting now, what was the title of XTC's only British top 10 single reaching number 10 in February 1982?
Senses working overtime.
Correct. As a teenager, Andy Partridge acquired what nickname because of his guitar mastery of a song on the Beatles' White Album?
Rocky.
Yes, although the band continued to perform on radio stations, XTC's last public concert performance took place in which American city in 1982?
San Diego.
Correct. Which drummer from Mr. Mister played on the 1989 album Oranges and Lemons?
Pat Mastelotto.
Yes, the song Red Brick Dream mentions castles, kings and the North Star. To what do these refer?
Pass.
Vetoed by their manager, what was the working title of the Black Sea album which inspired the cover picture of the band in diving suits?
Work Under Pressure.
Yes. Which was the first XTC record Dave Gregory played on, giving them their first ever Top of the Pops appearance in May 1979?
Life Begins at the Hop.
Yes, on the two albums from the period when XTC called themselves the Dukes of Stratosphere, Dave Gregory's brother Ian is credited as the drummer under what name?
E.I.E.I. Owen.
Yes. Which famous landmark features on the cover of the English Settlement album?
The White Horse at Uffington.
It does. Which single, scheduled for release in the autumn of 1992, was withdrawn by Virgin Records after many hundreds of discs had already been pressed?
Wrapped in Grey.
Correct. Which revered American rock musician produced XTC's album Skylarking?
Todd Rundgren.
Yes. Who was briefly a member of XTC in 1976 as keyboard player before leaving to devote his time to the Stadium Dogs?
Ian Perkins.
John Perkins. What was the title of the A-side of XTC's first single on Virgin Records, released in 1977?
Science Friction.
Yes, XTC were a Swindon band, but where was singer-guitarist Andy Partridge born in 1953?
Valletta in Malta.
Yes, Ian Reid, who became the band's manager, first saw XTC perform live when he booked them in September 1976 to play at his Swindon club called what?
The Affair Club.
Yes, in January 1978, XTC made a short tour of Europe supporting which American band?
Talking Heads.
Correct. During their first sessions at Abbey Road Studios, I've started so I shall finish, in August 1977, XTC were introduced to which musician and politician who was recording an LP in the adjacent studio?
Ted Heath.
It was, unlikely though it may seem, Ted Heath. You had one pass there. The song Red Brick Dream and all that referred to steam trains. You have scored, though, Jonathan Shaw, 15 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Susan Leng,
Your occupation?
Administrative Assistant.
And your chosen subject?
The life and work of George Hudson.
2 minutes. George Hudson was born on the 10th of March 1800 on a farm near which village?
Howsham.
Correct. What was the name of Hudson's great-uncle who bequeathed practically all his property to him on his death in 1827?
Matthew Botterill.
Yes. At which hotel did the meeting take place on 30th of December 1833, at which Hudson was elected treasurer of the committee that resolved to bring the railway to York?
Mrs. Tomlinson's.
Yes. What was the name of the rector of Foston-le-Clay who first called George Hudson the Railway King?
Reverend Sidney Smith.
Correct. At its first meeting in August 1836, Hudson was elected chairman of which railway company?
York and North Midland.
Yes. Which anti-Corn Law campaigner did Hudson defeat when he was elected MP for Sunderland in 1845?
Colonel Perronnay Thompson.
Yes. Which property near Thirsk did Hudson buy from Earl de Grey in 1845?
Baldersby Park.
Yes. What is the name of the Stock Exchange member and shareholder of the York, Newcastle and Berwick Railway who asked Hudson some awkward questions about his share dealings at a company meeting in February 1849?
Captain Watts.
Robert Prance, later to become one of Hudson's most loyal friends, who wrote a glowing description of the opening of the York and North Midlands Railway for the Yorkshire Gazette.
Robert Stevenson.
Foster, James Lancelot Foster. On 12th of August 1855, Hudson sailed from Sunderland to which country, planning to build a new trunk line there?
Spain.
Yes, Hudson was arrested in July 1865 and taken to the debtors' prison in York while standing as Tory candidate for which seat?
Whitby.
Yes, who was one of Hudson's most implacable enemies whose statue dominates the railway station precinct in York?
George Lehman.
Yes. In 1853, the Master of the Rolls delivered judgment on the York and North Midlands first suit in Chancery against its former chairman concerning 12,500 shares appropriated by Hudson in which other railway company?
Brandling Junction.
East and West Riding Extension. In 1833, Hudson became closely involved in the formation of which bank, buying a number of shares and becoming a director?
The York Union Bank.
Correct. With which recorder of York did Hudson have a drunken row at a civic dinner in February? I've started, so I shall finish. At a civic dinner in February 1840, over whose right it was to respond to the toast to the Alderman of York?
Charles Elsley.
Is correct. You had no passes, Susan Leng. You have 12 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Brian Doherty,
And your occupation?
maths tutor.
And your chosen subject?
History of the city of Moscow.
In 2 minutes, starting now. Based on the first chronicled reference, which year is traditionally regarded as the date of the founding of Moscow?
1157.
1147. Also known as the Golden Horde, which invaders led by Batu Khan captured and burned Moscow in the mid-13th century?
Mongols.
Yes. What is the name of the television tower and studios where in October 1993 many lives were lost when rebels tried to occupy them?
Ostankino.
Correct. Prince Dmitry of Moscow, who inflicted a crushing defeat on the Mongols in 1380, acquired which nickname as a result of his victory?
Donsky.
Correct. During the reign of which Grand Prince of Moscow did work start under the supervision of Italian architects to enlarge the Kremlin, giving it brick walls of more than a mile in length?
Ivan III.
Correct. Similar in meaning to White City, what name was given to the area of Moscow that is now encompassed within the Bulvarno Koltso or Boulevard Ring?
Belgorod.
Correct. What was the Russian name of the German suburb, the largest of the foreign settlements that grew up in the city?
Nemetskaya Sloboda.
Correct. Running along the west wall of the Kremlin, the Alexandrovsky Gardens were laid out to a design by which architect on the orders of the Emperor Alexander I?
Beauvais.
Or Beauvais. The previous two theatres having burnt down, the current Bolshoi Theatre was built in 1856 to whose design?
Pass.
What was the name of the hill on which Prince Yuri Dolgoruki ordered the building of the first Moscow Kremlin in 1156?
Borovodskaya.
Correct. In 1648, disturbances by artisans, labourers and tradesmen took place in the city as a result of a tax increase on which commodity?
Pass.
What was the name of the military force whose revolts and attacks on Moscow during the reign of Peter the Great were used in attempts by his sister Sophia to return to power?
Streltsy.
Correct. In 1755, on the initiative of which Russian poet, scientist and grammarian was Moscow University founded?
Lomonosov.
Correct. Built between 1890 and 1893 by what acronym of the so-called Upper Trading Rows now known?
GUM.
Correct. Moscow's status as the centre of the... I'll finish. Moscow's status as the centre of the Soviet government was ratified on 30th December 1922 at a meeting held in which building?
I'm inclined to say the Bolshoi Theatre. That's probably wrong.
Well, if that's what you're saying, is it?
Yes. Yeah.
Then it is correct. You had two passes. Salt was the commodity that was taxed, and nobody liked that. And the two theatres having burned down, the Bolshoi was built to the design of Albert Cavosh. Brian Doherty, you had those two passes. You, too, have 12 points. Well, that brings us to the end of the first round. Very tight round. Specialist subjects. Here are the scores. In fourth place, 12 points and 2 passes, Brian Doherty. Third place, 12 points and 1 pass, Richard Dale. Second place, 12 points and no passes, Susan Leng. In the lead with 15 points, Jonathan Shaw. So, the general knowledge round now, and if there is a tie, very likely at the end of this round, then the number of passes will be taken into account and the contender with the fewest passes will be the winner. If there's still a tie on points, then there'll be a 5-question playoff. So, let's get on with the general knowledge round, and let me ask Brian Doherty to join us again, if he would, first, please. And do you have an interest in the city of Moscow? Wow. Pretty awful city in lots of ways, isn't it?
I've been trying to learn Russian for quite a few years, so I suppose it's a natural progression to, you know, have an interest. I mean, I've been there once, only once though, for about 4 or 5 days.
It wasn't always the capital, of course. Great fight for it being the capital between St. Petersburg and Moscow.
Well, I mean, this is it really. I mean, probably when the Lenin took over, the Kremlin was probably in quite a bad way, to be honest. I mean.
Yeah.
It hadn't been the capital for about 200 years or so, and no one had bothered to look after it too much.
Yeah. Right, well, you know a lot about Moscow. You got 12 points on it, so let's see how you do with general knowledge. Triskaidekaphobia is an irrational fear of which number?
13.
Yes. Which expression for a burdensome possession has its origins in a gift bestowed by the kings of Siam on courtiers they wished to ruin?
White elephant.
Yes. Which weapon, thought to be of Welsh origin, played an important role in the victories over the French at the battles of Crécy, Poitiers and Agincourt?
Well, longbow.
Yes. What is the name of the villainous and cunning clerk in David Copperfield who said, "We're so very humble"?
Uriah Heep.
It was. Which university, established in 1966, is situated at Uxbridge in Middlesex?
Brunel.
Yes. Which national sporting venue is sometimes known as Billy Williams' Cabbage Patch?
Pass.
Replacing Montgomery, Alabama, which city became the capital of the Confederate States in May 1861?
Richmond.
Yes. Who, after the First World War, sought anonymity first as J.H. Ross and then later as T.E. Shaw?
Lawrence of Arabia.
Yes. In classical Greek mythology, Aeolus was the god of which natural phenomenon?
Wind.
Yes. Which former president and prime minister of Pakistan was hanged in 1979 on the charge of conspiracy to murder a political opponent?
Bhutto.
Correct. The phrase terra firma was used to describe that part of the Italian mainland governed by which city?
Rome.
Venice. Which science fiction writer was a radar instructor in the RAF during the Second World War before turning to writing?
Brian Aldiss.
Arthur C. Clarke. Which southern town's growth from a small agricultural settlement was largely due to the opening of the locomotive workshops of the Great Western Railway in 1843?
Swindon.
Yes, you were working as a waitress in a cocktail bar is the opening line of which #1 hit of the 80s?
Pass.
What term is used for the style of art and architecture current in Europe from the 10th century until the advent of the Gothic style?
Romanesque.
Yes. Which Austrian composer was accidentally shot and killed by an American soldier in 1945?
Pass.
And your time is up. That composer who was shot and killed accidentally was Webern, Anton von Webern. You were working as a waitress in a cocktail bar, the opening line of Don't You Want Me? And it's Twickenham that's sometimes known as Billy Williams' Cabbage Patch. You had those 3 passes, you had 12 points. You now have, Brian Doherty, 23 points. And now Richard Dale, if you join us, please. And you are a sales agent.
That is correct.
Now, the Encyclopedia Britannica, is it dying in the sense that we know it as those wonderful leather-bound volumes on the shelves?
It's really a different direction in which they are being issued now. The main sale is through the CD and DVD ROMs and the online service. But there is still that small nucleus of people who like the book.
So why, when you have Google and all the rest of it, would you need encyclopedias at all today?
Well, put it the other way round. There is so much information that it needs compacting and organising. You can get a pretty fair idea of whole subjects of which one perhaps had no idea existed.
You don't sell Encyclopedia Britannica as well, do you?
Once upon a time. But, of course, as you realise, there was then a rapid decline for the book version.
Right, well, you had 12 points with Encyclopedia Britannica. Let's see how you do with general knowledge. Which famous American general was killed at the Battle of the Little Bighorn in 1876?
George Custer.
Yes. To which family of birds do guillemots, razorbills and puffins belong?
Pass.
What title does Cedric Errol inherit in the novel by Francis Hodgson Burnett?
Lord Fauntleroy.
Yes. Where in the human body are the metatarsal bones?
In the feet.
Yes. In which country is Neanderthal, the valley where prehistoric remains were discovered in 1856?
Germany.
Yes. Who was Prime Minister of the Irish Republic from 1992 to 94 and was responsible with John Major for advancing the peace process in Northern Ireland?
Ahern.
Albert Reynolds. Soren Kierkegaard's thinking led to which philosophical movement, one of whose leading exponents was Jean-Paul Sartre?
Existentialism.
Yes. The name of which percussion instrument literally means wood sound in Greek?
Glockenspiel.
Xylophone. Samuel Fox of Stocksbridge took out several patents in the late 19th century for a curved steel frame and ribs that came to be known as Fox's Paragon frame. For what was it used?
Pass.
What is the name of Lord Montagu's Hampshire home where the National Motor Museum is situated?
Beaulieu.
Yes. Who in Greek mythology is the goddess of the dawn?
Aurora.
Eos. Which artillery officer invented the exploding shell full of metal balls or bullets that's named after him?
Pass.
In which novel by Charles Dickens does the titular hero go to seek his fortune in America?
Martin Chuzzlewit.
Yes. Which European country has a square flag adopted in 1848, though its emblem has symbolised the country since the 14th century?
Latvia.
Switzerland. Which composer was nominated for an Oscar for his musical score for the film The Pink Panther?
Pass.
In chemistry, what term is used for the combining power of an atom equal to the number of hydrogen atoms that it could combine with, finish the question, or replace in a compound?
Valency.
Yes, you had 4 passes. The composer was Henry Mancini. That shell full of metal balls and bullets was shrapnel, of course. Samuel Fox of Stockbridge took out patents for that thing that turned out into an umbrella. And the family of birds, guillemots and all that, the auk family. You had 12 points, you now have, Richard Dale, 20 points. And now Susan Leng, please. And another 12-pointer with your knowledge of George Hudson. And many people, some people certainly would say, George who?
George Hudson, the Railway King from York.
The Railway King. Well, famous to those who know, but infamous as well.
Oh, well, yes, that as well. But if it hadn't been for him, York wouldn't be the place it is, and the railway system in the north of England probably wouldn't be as advanced as it was at the time.
But he was a bit of a crook, wasn't he?
A little bit, yes.
Just a little bit. Yeah. What did he do that was so terrible? I mean, he borrowed money and couldn't pay it back? And...
No, I think he encouraged people to speculate. But if people are always willing to invest money, they've got to realise that they might lose it.
A fool and his money are soon parted.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. And he was parted from his rather dramatically.
Well, 12 points with him, as I say. So, general knowledge round now. Who starred as George, a middle-aged man who lusts after Bo Derek in the film 10?
Dudley Moore.
Yes. Which alpine peak was first climbed in 1786 by Michel Gabriel Paccard, a doctor from Chamonix, together with Jacques Balmat, his guide?
The Matterhorn.
The Mont Blanc. What is the common name for the disease caused by the variola virus, which was declared eradicated in 1979?
Smallpox.
Yes. Of which occasion in 1969 did President Nixon supposedly say this is the greatest week in the history of the world since the creation?
Landing on the Moon.
Yes. Which 1995 British film starring Ewan McGregor was based on a best-selling novel by Irvine Welsh?
Trainspotting.
Yes. In the Falklands War, which submarine fired the torpedoes that sank the General Belgrano?
Sheffield.
Conqueror. What is the principal ingredient of the Greek dish tara masalata?
Cod roe.
Yes, fish roe. Which builder was born in Lanarkshire in 1847, went to work in the pits at the age of 10 and founded the company that built Wembley Stadium?
Pass.
Which precious silver white metal is mainly used in alloys with platinum and osmium in jewellery, pen nibs and sparking points?
Osmium.
Iridium. Which further education body has its headquarters in Giltspur Street in the City of London?
Royal School of Music.
City and Guilds. Which river has 4 European capitals situated along its banks?
Danube.
Yes. Which actress and singer, best known for her musical comedy roles, was the mother of the actor Larry Hagman?
Pass.
Which composer was born in the Austrian city of Salzburg on the 27th of January 1756?
Mozart.
Yes. In Alice's Adventure in Wonderland, which creature did the whiting ask to walk a little faster?
Snail.
Yes. Which small bird's call is said to sound like a little bit of bread and no cheese?
Yellowhammer.
Yes. The American 5-cent coin has what nickname?
Joey.
The nickel
yes.
is what they call it. So you had 2 passes. Mary Martin was the mother of Larry Hagman, and Sir Robert McAlpine was the man behind Wembley Stadium. 2 passes. You've scored, Susan Leng, 21 points. And now Jonathan Shaw, please. Right, 23 points. That's what you've got to win. You did very well, 15 points with XTC. They never did become a big group, did they?
Just as they were about to break through, they committed commercial suicide and wouldn't tour, so that was pretty much that, and they've been a cult band ever since.
Why wouldn't they tour?
Andy Partridge's stage fright.
Really?
He had chronic fits of stage fright in early 1982 and refused to perform after that.
Not good if you're a lead. He was the lead?
He was the lead singer, yes. Which is a real shame. I would have loved to have seen them live, but I think their albums have more than made up for it.
Well, there we are. You know a lot about them. You scored a lot. You now, as I say, have 23 points to beat. So let's see if you can do that with your general knowledge. 2 minutes, starting now. In the television series Dallas, which ranch was the family home of Miss Ellie?
South Fork?
Yes. Which measure originally the reach of the outstretched arms is now defined as 1.8 metres or 6 feet and is used as a unit of depth of water?
Fathom?
Yes. Mrs. Alexander Plunkett Green was the married name of which dress designer responsible for the widespread popularity of the miniskirt and hot pants?
Mary Quant?
Yes. Which author wrote Our Old Home about his life as the American consul in Liverpool in the 1850s?
Pass.
What term is used for a material consisting of 2 or more metals or a metal and a non-metal?
Amalgam?
Alloy. Imre Kertész, the Nobel Literature Laureate for 2002, was the first writer from which country to win the award?
Pakistan?
Hungary. What in a media context are sometimes referred to as red tops?
Oh, tabloids.
Yes. Which European capital city was devastated by an earthquake on All Saints' Day, the 1st of November, 1755?
Lisbon?
Yes. What on a French menu are cuisses de grenouille?
Pass.
Who was flat racing's champion jockey, a record 26 times before his retirement in 1954?
Willie Shoemaker?
Gordon Richards. Which actor plays the hobbit Frodo Baggins in the Lord of the Rings films?
Orlando Bloom?
Elijah Wood. Which ship was depicted on the reverse of the old halfpenny coin from 1937 until 1967?
Discovery?
Golden Hind. Lorraine Bracco plays the psychiatrist Dr. Jennifer Melfi in which American television series?
ER?
The Sopranos. In which type of bicycle gear does the chain move to sprockets with differing numbers of teeth on the rear wheel or the chain ring?
Pass.
Whose painting, The Massacre of the Innocents, was sold for a British record £49.5 million at Sotheby's in July 2002?
Goya?
Rubens. Which British mammal is often called the water rat, although it's in fact a very different animal?
Vole?
Yes, water vole. Who composed the music for the ballet Coppelia? Finish the question. First performed in Paris in 1870.
Sanson?
Delibes. You had 3 passes. It's the derailleur gear on the bicycle that has that complicated setup. What you get when you have cuisses de grenouille is frog's legs, and it was Nathaniel Hawthorne who wrote Our Old Home. 3 passes. You have, after your 15 earlier points, a total of 21 points. Well, at the end of that very tight round, let's have a look at the scores. In 3rd place with 20 points, Richard Dale. Joint 2nd place with 21 points, Jonathan Shaw and Susan Leng. In 1st place, crept ahead with 23 points, Brian Doherty. Which means, of course, that Brian Doherty goes through to the next round and moves a step closer to becoming our Mastermind champion. Congratulations to him. Will you join us next time when we'll be starting the semi-finals? Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
From the schoolboy who stumbled upon Churchill's toy shop to the girl guides helping the Home Guard, how we won the war next. Then BBC Two reveals more of Raymond Blanc's kitchen secrets, a double bill in half an hour.